Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Nate. Today, I'm so excited to have in the studio Susan Filan. Susan and I were just chatting before the call, and we have a lot of intersections in our lives, from our love of anthropology and cultural resources to our times in court. And then of course having some life things that make big transformational revelations in our lives. And we do have those. We resurface those, and we really refine ourselves in those moments. And we all have each one. So maybe we'll be thinking about that as we go through the conversation today. So Susan, you're a prosecutor and you're a speaker and a life strategist. Just go ahead and tell us some more about it.
Sure. Well, thanks, Daya, for having me on. And I agree, life is a journey and we are constantly evolving. And in fact, this is an evolution, what I'm doing now. I was a prosecutor. I practiced law as a litigator 30 plus years in the state of Connecticut. I was a public defender, private attorney, you name it, I did it. I was also the senior legal analyst for MSNBC and NBC News. So I traveled the country and covered major trials, and I weigh in from time to time on important cases of our time. But I decided to reinvent myself and go back to law school, 30 plus years since having graduated, to study Indigenous people's law and policy. And I got my LLM and was getting my doctorate, and I was beginning to teach, and thought I was going to have a second or a third career. I say third because I was an anthropologist before I was a lawyer. But Daya, I got hit by a car crossing the street as a pedestrian in a crosswalk, and my Etch-a-Sketch was erased, and I was stripped down to my studs. In fact, the first responder, I heard him say, "Oh, it's not a fatality." And I thought I was dead. I was lying on that pavement. I was above my body looking down. I could hear a voice inside my head saying, "I'm dead." And then another voice saying, Am I dead? No, I'm not dead. I'm dead. It was like a debate. I just couldn't tell if I was alive. And when I realized I was alive, I still wasn't sure if I was hurt. And I said, am I hurt? And I did that body scan. All this took place in seconds, but it seemed longer. I did a body scan and I realized I am very seriously hurt. I'm not getting up. And in fact, I had to have 5 surgeries, and I had to learn to walk again, literally learn to walk again, like heel, toe, right arm swings with the left leg. It took quite a while to walk, and then it took a lot longer to walk without a limp. And I still danced like a cross between a robot and Frankenstein, and I'll never be able to run again. But instead of focusing on what I'm not or I've lost, what it did for me, I would say the worst thing that ever happened to me became the greatest gift.
Amazing.
I woke up to the meaning of life, which I would have missed, Daya. I would have completely missed. For all those busy lawyers out there, busy high achievers, overachievers.
So I was going to say the high achievers. Yep. Similar. There's a similar circumstance, actually. Not as critical as yours. Good, but definitely had that moment of going to die. Yes. And sometimes a time of recovery and all that.
Wow.
Not as extensive as yours. I really appreciate you pushing through that and working as hard as you did to bring that. But there was an awakening from the high achieving, the very analytical person to becoming more of the people person that I am today.
Yeah. I mean, I think we wake up to the fact that life itself is a gift. Mm-hmm. And there is no more that we're entitled to or that we need. This life, this precious human life, is the gift. And that's what I woke up to. And I honestly would have missed it, because if you asked me how I was before, I would have said busy, like a badge of honor.
Yes.
That is not the game. I get that now.
Yeah, wonderful. So tell us about some of the people that you're working with, like as a life strategist.
Well, my main goal is to be a keynote global speaker, because I want to get this message out. I'm in TED Talk training, so I'm going to be doing, I know, it's so cool. And I'm writing, which is, honestly, after having been stripped down to my studs, I've been restored to factory settings. because that's what I was as a little kid. I was a writer, I was a speaker, I was a communicator, and here I am again, back to where I started after having gone a few turns around the sun. But I'm a life strategist for people who sometimes they're lawyers, sometimes they're litigants, sometimes they're just high powered people who feel like they've climbed to the top of the ladder and are wondering, is this it? Like, is this a joke? I've arrived and I feel empty, I feel lonely, I feel lost, I feel disconnected, I'm miserable, and I have it all. I have what everybody tells you you should want and you should be. So I help people reset. I call myself the architect of reinvention and the wake up call speaker and coach. I help people find clarity, purpose, and my tagline is wake up to a life you love.
I love it. I love that already. Wonderful. And you've really dug into all of this about, clarity, vision, neuroscience, all of these things, and um, gone through that process. I can see you helping someone like me, or like our audience here, or our high performing law firm owners. Yeah, I mean, if I'm listening to this call, like what makes me think I need to call you, or I need to even better get you on, say, my ABA annual meeting venue?
I think people that can hear my voice are people who perhaps feel a little bit tricked or a little bit trapped, like I've done everything right and it doesn't feel good. So, how do I squeeze the juice out of life without having to walk away from everything or quit everything? But what's my reset? Does my nervous system need a reset? Does my spirit need a reset? Does my mindset need a reframe? So, I basically shift people out of the thought that I'll be happy if or I'll be happy when. Because if not now, then never. Tomorrow is promised to no one, and your next breath is not guaranteed. So, how can you love your life now? What's blocking you? What's standing in your way? What limiting beliefs do you have about why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's not allowed for you, why you don't give yourself permission? How are you holding what other people think you should be, or what other people need you to be, or what other people expect you to do for them or for yourself, standing in the way of what you know to be true and right about you? This precious human life is fleeting, and we all incarnate for a purpose. We're all a unique piece of a jigsaw puzzle. And if you're not a piece of the puzzle, the whole puzzle doesn't get made. So you really have to, in your own life, live the life that your soul knows you're here to live. All the rest of it is noise.
That's great. I was at a cafe recently, and it said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is taken." I was like, "Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah." I think we have such a struggle to conform, but then it's really our nonconformity and our uniqueness that makes us shine in life.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I realized is that I was the person that wasn't giving myself permission in life to do the things I love to do, or to do the things that I wanted to do, or to do the things that mattered most to me. And during this recovery, I learned so much. But one of the things I learned is to turn no into yes. Every time I heard no inside my head, no, I can't, no, I shouldn't, no, no, I turned it to yes. So if I got an idea of something I wanted to do, I'd say yes. It doesn't mean I know how or I know when, but the answer is yes. You want to do that? Yes. That's important to you? Yes. And now if somebody asks me to do something, yes. Somebody wants to meet me? Yes. Somebody wants to connect? Yes. So I've just turned no, I can't, into yes, I can, because I want to, because I choose to. I hold the keys.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate this. Yeah, and so you're looking for, so everybody listening out there, be thinking about where Susan can come and do some speaking. You also do retreats. Do you put those on, or do people hire you to come to theirs?
Yes, I'm hired to go to retreats to help with the reset or the reframe. I work with my husband in a wellness center here in Westport, Connecticut, but I'm virtual and I'm global. But we put on retreats. We bring people to India.
Oh,
And the whole idea is to get in touch with your nervous system through your breath to reset all of those adrenals that are running you ragged. That's just another false belief that we have that we need to be jazzed and jacked and energized to get stuff done. I've learned to get stuff done from a place of deep peace and pure calm. And I have a trust now in life, in its unfolding, in its perfection, that I didn't have before. You might have said I was a little bit of a control freak. And I think a lot of litigators might be in that boat. But I actually found I was in my way. So I've learned to get out of my way.
I love that. Yeah. And us trying to micromanage things and be in control of things that doesn't allow the spontaneity and the creativity to blossom. Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And then, yes, we are I myself have to confess, I am an over caffeinated human being. And you seem to feel like that's the way it should be, but that's not truly the case.
I don't think that's how our biology was designed through evolution. I think when our, nervous system gets jacked, it's because there's danger. And we're all walking around like there's a tiger after us, and there isn't
All the time. Yeah.
all the
All the
time.
time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the tiger is inside.
Tigers
And
inside.
my
I
other
love
great
that.
lesson from my experience that I'll share with our viewers is when you're crossing the street, look both ways.
Oh gosh. I know. So fundamental. So fundamental. Yeah, I was actually walking on the street answering emails the other day, and I just in my mind I'm like headlines, local entrepreneur, in crosswalk, it's
Yeah,
like, really? Okay, wait, at least till you get to the side the sidewalk.
exactly. But I don't think that we can thwart our soul's destiny. And I think that's what these wake up calls are about. And I think we have an ever escalating series of wake up calls. There's the whisper, the nudge, the longing, then
Mhm.
there's the knock, then there's the sledgehammer and the car. And really don't wait for the car. It's
Don't wait
it's
for the car.
important to answer the wake up calls as you're hearing them as they're coming because they will come gently at first and they'll get you in the end. You can run but you can't hide. And so I joke about, the crossing the street, but it is the greatest gift because it is my wake up call. But I could have woken up much earlier. I had gotten smaller, gentler, kinder wake up calls that I thought I could ignore, outrun, overpower. I used a lot of, willpower and control. And what I've really learned through this is to stay much more in the flow. Life isn't happening to me; it's happening for me.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you to find out more?
You can go to my website, which is susanfilan.com, Susan, F as in Frank, ILAN as in Nancy.com. You can text my cell, 203-948-7418. You can email me at sfilan@gmail.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. But do find me because I would love to help you reach your highest destiny.
Thank you, Susan, for being on the show today. And thank you, all of my listeners here at the Success Partner Podcast. I'm your host, Dea Nave. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned.
Thanks, Dave.